Good morning, everyone. And I say it's good morning because I'm here in London and it's just gone 9 o'clock. And my guest today is Anna, and she's in Australia, Sydney. And for her, it's just gone 8 o'clock in the evening. And it just shows you how we can be at different ends of the world, different times, and yet still be here together at the same time. So that tells you something, doesn't it? Anyway, so as I said, my guest today is Anna. She's an intuitive and transformational coach, as well as many other things. And she's going to speak today about her spiritual journey, what happened to her when it started, what caused her, what she went through, and how she came out and how it brought her to who she is today. So without much ado, good morning, Anna in Australia.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Anna, so today you're going to tell us about your journey, how it started, maybe from childhood, what you went through, what circumstances, what pains, how you got over it, because so many of us all over the world are going through and we need that help and support. So please let us hear your journey.
Yeah, so my childhood itself, I've got to say, was pretty great. So I will say that there is absolutely inner child work that I have focused on, and a lot of reprogramming and digging into even memories in utero that when I was ready to, as an adult, I was able to dig into. But my spiritual journey really began as an adult, and I feel like that is appropriate for a lot of people, because a lot of us do have great childhoods and we do come from great families.
Yes.
And much to your earlier comments, being a spiritual person, even if you've grown up in an ordinary, like a great family, and my family's background is very religious. My background's Eastern European, so we're Polish, it's all very Catholic. And to be coming out of that kind of spiritual closet and being, calling myself woo and spiritual, like that was a real big deal. And the visibility of just owning that and coming into that as an adult, as somebody who's really strong in standing within my power now, purely comes from the events of life in adulthood, the decisions we make, the experiences we've had. And so my journey begins when I left high school and went off to uni, as most of us do, and decided that business school was in fact not for me, even though I then went on to build a rather successful business. But I went into the bodywork industry because I was in high school and I was a Reiki master and I was doing intuitive training and I was learning to be a little bit of a medical intuitive at the time and just getting some really early days of psychic development. But I didn't have the courage to be 18, 19 and to be a spiritual person and to be in the industry at that age, because there's a stigma that you need to be older and wiser to be doing healings and to be giving advice. And that's similar to your story as well.
Okay, let me just stop you there.
Yeah.
Because you said you were 18, 19 and very young, and of course you're in this spiritual journey. But what led you to the spiritual journey? What made you go into that line? What caused it? So something happened earlier.
Well, it wasn't something that necessarily happened. It was just the way that I was. I was always very intuitive from when I was younger. I feel like there probably is a family lineage of that coming through because, my mum will have occasional dreams, but it wasn't anything that was nurtured or developed. If anything, it was like, no, we don't do that because we go to church. So it was, then you can see how when I'm coming into 18, 19, I'm not stepping into that because it isn't something that was really supported as such. And so off to business school I went and closed that sort of door behind me. and all the years of me reading spiritual books, it's the only thing I was interested in, like manifestation and angels. It was the only books that I would read. You put me in a bookstore and I'm going straight to the spiritual section, and that's kind of all I was interested in. And that was something that has just always been in me. So it wasn't something, there wasn't a specific event that happened as such. That's just who I am, and that's how I was born, and it's me coming into myself.
I can understand that, because it was the same for me. Yeah, I can understand that. It's something always in you from childhood, and you're drawn to it. Nobody else around you is, and you just watch and you go through your own, go through dreams, and they come to pass, and so you just quietly step. Yeah, please continue.
Yes. And as you've mentioned that, what's actually just popped into my mind is when I was finishing school and getting into uni, I was actively manifesting myself into uni, following the practices that were relevant at the time. And I remember just manifesting my grades at school. It was like, right, I want to get 98 on this maths test out of 100. And I would, obviously go and do the study, and I was quite astute in that regard, but I would hold the intention of the result that I wanted for those exams. And this was back in high school, and I would always get those same results. And so coming into uni, it was the same. It was like, this is the top uni I want to go to, and then putting those manifesting skills into play and creating that outcome for myself. And like my best manifesting story would have been probably still in year 12, and there was this pair of Nikes that I wanted. They were, I don't know, these cool Nikes back in the day, and my brother purchased a pair on eBay, brand new, for himself. And you know what got delivered? The pair that I wanted, in the color that I wanted, in my exact size. I didn't even place the order. He did. They sent the wrong one, and I got to keep my shoes, and they sent him another pair. And it was like,
there you are.
Interesting story. And it's like, okay, this, that should have been a little light bulb of like, okay, this is your little ping of like the direction you should be going into. But off to uni I went, and there started the journey of probably, I'm going to say, a slight misalignment to my soul path, but they're all lessons that were really valuable, because ultimately each detour just leads you back to where you're going. Yeah. But that manifesting ability, that Midas touch that I had with like shoes and airfares and like a whole list of things that I like would just boggle your mind, slowly started to disappear. And I kept waking up going, where has my Midas, like I just could manifest and it's all like, I just lost it, and everything became hard and everything became a struggle. And then all of a sudden it's like you're just putting one foot in front of the other and you're moving forward and progressing. But for me, my experience was, I felt like I was walking through mud. And I started my business when I was 25, and I built an allied health clinic, and I just sold it recently, but, built it up to have a successful business for many years, multiple six figures. We had a team and everything, and I've been able to successfully sell it and move on from it. But every step of the way was a challenge, everything, other than starting it up. But then everything after that was hard. Finding staff was hard. Getting good marketing people was hard. And it wasn't even a story that I think I had, but it was definitely a story that developed in time. And now looking back, I can see that the journey of the effort, because I pulled away from the spiritual path, which I'm now back onto, and now we're back into it, one numerological year, and there is a lightness to the energy, and there is just a sense of peace. But also when there's an alignment for me with my soul path now to be really stepping fully into the spiritual space, guess what's coming back? That Midas touch. And that journey comes from all of the heartache and the lessons learned to ultimately get you there. And what I've come to realize is that there are no wrong decisions. There are no bad decisions. They're just detours. And it's up to us to really learn that that's the power of our free will as spiritual beings on earth, isn't it really? That
Yes.
we get the choice to choose whether we follow that soul path, whether we listen to the intuition, or whether we allow ourselves to get caught in our human, very natural emotions of fear and concern and worry, and they're all valid.
Yeah.
But it's about the process of coming into that inner power, that inner strength within ourselves that ultimately just takes time and experience. And that was my journey.
And you know, you're so right, because as much as you're on that spiritual path and as much as you manifested things earlier, sometimes that's there to show you what you're capable of and who you are. And then when you so-called deviate, and I don't think it's necessarily deviate, it's going through life's experiences, seeing there is out there and how it works and what needs to be done, and then realizing that it is about the journey, it is about growing in wisdom, and then is about stepping back. And as you said, you went off there, how you probably don't know, and probably went more into your head, although you said you were trying to do the manifestation in that, and somehow it went.
So instead of going into the spiritual space, I ended up going into body work. When I left business school, I went to massage school and I learned to become a massage therapist, because to me that was a really solid, grounded space to be in, where I could still be a healer. Because what I really wanted to do and what didn't change was that I wanted to help people. And so I was like, right, well, at 20 years old, I'm not ready to do healings like energetically and bring that information through. That was my story at the time. But I can work on people and I can still help them and I can still heal them. So coming back to nothing was lost, and it wasn't a bad decision. It was just the detour, really, because I was able to develop really specific intuitive skills by working directly on the body. The medical intuitive skills that I learned through all the training that I've done over the years, parallel to none. Like the insights that I can now sit back and go, I'm so glad that I made those decisions and did that training, because it's giving, like, that's heightened my skills as we go on. Even the lessons in business, invaluable. They translate across all aspects of life and will be relevant to your audience and my audience and all the rest of it. So it's important to note that there is no wrong journey. And as you were speaking, I had a memory come through from a bit of information I channeled just last week, where Spirit was saying that the process of, let's say, manifestation or creation in your life is you hopping into the driver's seat of your car.
Yeah.
You put the destination into the GPS.
That's right.
Spirit is the GPS. It is your job to listen to the GPS, i.e. your intuition, and follow the directions. And it is the journey, it is our sort of lesson and growth to navigate the terrain in which they are saying to go to get to our destination. Even if we think there's a better way to go, the GPS knows best. And I was like, isn't that so true? Because we have to grow the balls to go to drive through snow or rain or on freeways or on the Autobahn or windy roads, like whatever. But that is such a beautiful metaphor for our experience of life, because when we don't listen to the GPS, i.e. our intuition, we get lost and we have detours. But the journey of driving is what teaches us everything we need to know.
And you're looking at me and I'm looking at you, and you can see me beaming, because this is what I was trying to say before, because I realize in my own life and now you're getting it, and you didn't realize it at that time, but you did say that there's no wrong and no right. Sometimes when you're when your manifestation, as you thought, had gone, it hadn't gone. It was probably closed down because you had to go a certain path to learn certain things. And that if you continued with that manifestation, you wouldn't have got there. And this is why when you're a spirit, we're all spiritual people, but when you're in that vein, you don't understand when things don't go your way. It is actually is going your way, but this is part of the journey. And as you said, in that period when you did body work, you did courses, you learned so much, you got so much information. But if you were still manifesting, you probably wouldn't have done those courses or anything. You would have just, so it stopped so that you can do this. Now it's time for you to come back with that knowledge. And now with your opening up spiritually, and you've just said it so beautifully. And thank you for that when you said, spirit is the GPS. You're in the seat. Oh, what you just said was wonderful, because yes, it is then for us to listen and to navigate that terrain. And as much as it might be bumpy or whatever, it is a reason. And even if you think there's an easier way, there's a reason why you've got to go that way, because our journey brings that wisdom and knowledge. So, oh my gosh, do continue, Anna. You said it so beautifully. Thank you.
So I think to keep up with that metaphor for a moment, it's important to realize that Spirit said get in the driver's seat of the car, not the passenger seat. And to me, that was the biggest, most important thing, because in working with clients, and it's certainly been my experience, and I'm sure that you've had this at some point in your life as well, it's very easy for us to get into the passenger seat of our life and to externalize the process of creation and transformation for ourselves, because I feel almost like old school manifesting and old school spiritual dogma and wisdom was that it's separate to us. It's like, well, you put it over there and the universe will create it for you, and you just kind of sit back and chill, and like maybe it'll come. And the sit back and chill has been misunderstood. It means don't get attached, but it doesn't mean like put it in a box and forget about it either. There's a real active part to our lives. And in speaking with clients, it's like those that want to create the job for themselves, it's like, okay, well, what do we need to do within ourselves to make us confident in taking that leap, in following that bit of intuition that we've received? Like that's manifesting the inner work, the healing component of stepping out of our comfort zone, making friends with our fear, integrating with our inner child, like with our shadows, of like all of these aspects of self make manifestation an inevitable byproduct. Then the mood board and the vision board and the journaling, like they're fun to do if you like to do them, but when you get the healing side of stuff done, they're not necessary.
Thank you.
That's how to do it.
Yeah, because I've always said, oh, let me do the vision, and it never felt right for me.
No.
And even end of year, when the beginning of the year, when you make determination, that's never felt right for me either. So it is a case, as you said, we're in the driver's seat. It's down to us, because we're co-creators. So it's down to us to say what we want, and sometimes what we want and what's right for us is not. But once you put it in and you connect to spirit, you will be guided to know, that's probably not what I really want. This is right. It's connected to spirit. Listen to that inner power that is one with you and everything.
Yes, and that is a critical element to the creation process. Like we can even like how whatever we call it, manifesting, creating, like just making shit happen for our lives, right? Like it's just, we need to really understand that the intuitive component, and you don't need to be intuitive where you can sit and do readings for other people if you would like to, great, but it's that self-intuition, it's that connection with our higher self, with our team in spirit. It is being aware of our energy field, our emotions, our personal state of being. and just developing a sensitivity and attunement to that help guides us, because you are 100% correct. Like, we might have a desire to go down a certain path. I'm trying to think of a tangible example. It's not coming to mind. Okay, so a lady that I was chatting to earlier today, she wants to move interstate for a new job, and initially she wanted to do her own thing. And through the process of her own dialogue, she realized that what she actually needs is to have a solid, stable job first. But let's look at it from the bigger picture. The drive to move was there and correct, wasn't it? Like, that's following, and then the ego gets in the way. It's like, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do this. But eventually you get to where you need to go if you follow and are flexible. And this is where not being attached to the outcome is really important. And that comes from building self-trust within yourself.
Yes. And that self-trust is connected to the creator, the higher self, of which we are there, because it works with it. We work with it, through it, for it, and by it, and we are co-creators going through this. And each one of us has got a gift, and each one of us has come to learn, to experience. And so we need that navigation to help. Which way, what to do, what is right for us. What is right for you may not be right for me. Like I said, some people, you know, do mood boards and so, and that helps them to focus, and fine. But with me, I just felt, nah, that's not for me. So,
and that's okay. And that's okay. Yes. And I think the trust piece, you are spot on that it is everything that you said. And another layer is also that it is the evidence of the actions that we as individuals take, that we can trust ourselves to make good decisions, and that I can trust myself to follow my intuition. I can trust myself to change my mind, because I can trust myself that I can recognize that perhaps I've gone down the wrong path. So it's real, it has to be this balance between the higher self and the physical self, and really an integration of both.
Yeah. And when you say you're learning to trust yourself, as you go through that journey, you are developing yourself, to developing that wisdom, and developing everything around you. And it's making you that stronger and more confident person. Because this is it's like a little child, you know, a little child starts to creep. It stands up, it drops. It stands up. Eventually can stand and do a bit more and drop until it eventually stands. And then and you can see from those early years to who we are now as an adult, it's amazing. And what we've learned and taken in to get us there. And this is the same thing in developing our own character, our own spirituality, our own being on this earth plane, and our own journey.
100%. And very much my story like revolves around all of that, where it was the trust in myself that I've got my own back, because it's like, yes, I can connect to spirit, but I've got my own back. Like, I trust my resilience. I trust my determination. I trust my ability, no matter how long it'll take to get myself to where I'm going. And that comes through the lessons, the experience, the wrong decisions as such. And ultimately, also for me, it was unraveling where I had taken myself and knowing that I really needed to kind of take a hard turn to get back to where I ultimately wanted to go. And it was, even though I didn't know how to get myself back there, so this was even before the intuitive hit of selling the business. And it was, I literally woke up one morning, and as I was semi-awake, I heard, and I often hear internally, but my clairaudience will sometimes come externally as well. And this was external. And the message from spirit was, it was time to sell your business. And it took 2 years before the business sold from the moment I heard that. But I literally was like, really? Okay. That's what we're doing? Because I would never have thought that I was ever going to leave the business. I was going to, level myself up in it and maybe not be hands-on as such, but to leave it completely just was never a thought in my mind. And I was at a point of, what am I going to do? Am I going to level up? Are we going to all the options? And Spirit was like, this is the direction you're going in. And I followed the direction, and it was hard, as I said, for 2 years. But that process of building trust, of learning to release my blocks, it was learning to work with the subconscious, because I had subconscious blocks that were in the way. So I learned how to identify them, release them, work on them, tune in intuitively to really listen to the sensitivity of the intuitive pings around me to navigate that to a successful sale. And from the moment of when Spirit said it's time to sell, to me having a session myself with an intuitive where she was like, right, you've got these 4 blocks that are in your way that are preventing the sale. Sat down, started reprogramming them, and within a month, the business was sold. After 2 years of people circling in and circling out and circling in and circling out. And what shifted? The internal work.
Yeah.
So how do you build the trust within yourself? It's you do the work and you have the experience and you see the outcomes that come through, and both good and bad, because every time a sale fell through, I was like, right, I've got more work to do. We've got more internal, there's more internal stuff that needs to shift to become in alignment with this. And sometimes I think my journey has been hard for me to learn the lessons, because then it's like, no, it gives you so much more empathy and compassion to somebody who is going through their version of that story.
You're talking so much wisdom. You're 100% right. It is the journey of your life. It is the journey of your being. It is the journey, and each one of us has our own journey. And as you say, there are situations, particularly when you said you had to turn a hard right to come back. You had to go through that journey first.
Yes.
Of all. It don't matter how long it took you. You had to do it. And when I say Spirit, when the Creator, whatever you want to call it, says, right, you're in the right place now, you've learned or done or got where you need to be, it's time to come back here. You could have learned that and you just do a slight right, but it took you a deeper time, which is fine for whatever you
totally fine,
because we're individuals, our individual part, whichever we have to go. But when it's time now, all that journey was knowledge. As you said, it's added
100%.
Now it's time to turn back on. It's fine.
It's totally fine.
And you've got such a great story. And you said something that all those things you go through, it makes you stronger and it makes your life story so much deeper and richer.
Yes.
Because you have that empathy for other people, because you know what it's like. And you're like me, when you're working with people, the more you go through, you understand that sometimes it is not easy to make those changes. It is not easy
to
look at those things that you need to look at. And when it's difficult for us, it gives us that empathy to realize, when you're working with people, how difficult it is. And it helps you in your work to be richer.
It does. And I think what's really important to reiterate is that I agree, a lot of people do think that it's hard, and it's their experience that can be hard. And it was certainly my experience that it was hard. And it's one of those things where I think you and I can both stress, because I feel like we're so on the same page about this. Hard isn't impossible. It just means that it's a road unknown. It's a terrain we haven't traveled yet. And it's be open to the possibility of change coming through, even if you don't know how yet.
Yeah. And it is unknown, but there's things inside of us that needs to be unblocked, needs to be bent, needs to be softened, needs to be open so that we grow.
And everybody who's listening who is in that situation where they're being bent right now, and they're being put through the washing machine where we're getting tumble turned and all the rest of it, but there's still something within them, and this is what I'm picking up on as we're talking. It's like, but there's still a little bit of a drive that somehow that just keeps them going. They still keep putting one foot in front of the other. They don't know who they're looking for. They don't know what they need. That's all okay. But that inner drive is your confirmation to everybody who's listening. That is your connection to spirit. That is your connection to higher self that is driving you forward, and just keep following that pull, because that's your change.
Yes, you're right. It is that connection to inner spirit. That is your connection to the creator. It's that, because we now have to realize that the creator is omnipresent in everything, and we are part of that everything. And like you say, we just need to listen. It's always been there, but we just need to recognize it. Sometimes we don't, but it's that inner thing that keeps us going. That is that energy. That is that power.
100%. But to that point, if the creator is omnipresent and we are effectively source, then why do we try to outsource our manifestation practice?
Thank you.
Exactly. Like, this is the part that I'm just like, how did we get to that point? Like, where along the way did something go wrong? Where, like, we are the ultimate creators already. It's just remembering and learning how to be that way, and shifting that paradigm back inside.
Exactly. What went wrong that made us feel that we were nothing, unworthy, insignificant? And then we're looking always to somebody else to speak to us, to give our confessions or what. No, we are it. But it was done purposely to make us forget. It was done purposely to disconnect us. Although the string is always there, but something so we couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But in this time now, so many of us are being shaken. We're now feeling it, and we're now being able, and I said to you before we started this program, it took me many years to actually say I'm a spiritualist coach, because it was woo-woo. Talk about that woo-woo,
That's all right.
They're the creators out there. You went to this one or that one, no, we're part of it, and we're now to realize. And in your journey, and we're seeing it, and you had to go through it. And this is what we're all having to go through.
Yes, 100%. And it's really, I think it's really just about coming home to within self.
Yes.
And it's that inner confidence. That's not arrogance. It's just confidence, right? Yes. Because it's the recognition of being solid within yourself, and that really ties through everything. That's that solid line through you. It's when you are aligned with your soul, with your higher self, with your purpose, what you've come here to do, and you've got the experiences behind you that have navigated you to where exactly you were meant to be. I wouldn't change any of my journey, even if I would like it to have, maybe taken less time, but would I change it? Like, no, not at all.
You and me both this time.
Yeah, but that's the journey of life, though. I wouldn't change any of it, because if I did, I wouldn't be who I am now or have the experiences that I have. And I couldn't tell you cool stories about manifesting shoes like that I didn't even purchase, or a business journey that, how magical is it that spirit gives you guidance and you go about your inner journey of self-transformation, self-guided, because I didn't have a guide at the time. I wish I did, to help me through it. And we follow the journey, follow the intuition, follow the pings, we do the work, and the evidence shows up.
So right. Especially when you said, why do we give out somebody else to do the manifestation? Why do we give because we don't realize, and now we're coming home, that we
Yes.
are co-creators, we are creator. We just have to do the work and remember. We have to do the work and remember. It's like walking. When you have all the body parts to walk and you sat down and you thought you couldn't do it, and because you haven't exercised those muscles, when you start to walk, it is difficult. You drop. It takes little steps, depending on you, until you can stand up and walk that walk as long as you want, with strength and with certainty.
Yes. And that is such a good example, especially with the work that I've been doing as a bodywork therapist. That is so relevant, because I'll see all the time people coming in who start their exercise programs or are recovering from injury, or the effects that chronic stress has on the body. And whether we look at it physically or whether we look at it from the metaphysical perspective, exactly the process that you said is the same across both realms. Really, it is, you've got to learn and you've got to exercise and you've got to build strength and you build habits and you get up and you keep going. And that, part of your brain that says, oh, I'd rather stay in bed at 6 o'clock in the morning, especially for you guys, you're in winter right now and it's dark and it's cold and maybe snowing. It's 5:30 in the morning here and it's bright as day, so it's a bit easier to get up. Come wintertime, when we're on opposite sides, I'm not getting out of bed at 5:30 to go for a run outside. So we've got to get over that mental hurdle, and that applies to physical things like exercise. It applies to things like building wealth, like having the financial discipline, for example, to manage our income, because we choose to put it towards something like an investment portfolio, for example. The same comes with your spiritual practice. We choose to invest in our intuitive development. Manifestation seems to have this really mystical, magical kind of something, like we've already said, it's so far away from us, and it's not. It is exactly the same as investing. It is exactly the same as exercising. It is exactly the same as weight loss and getting on a diet and sticking to a plan and getting a habit. And it's the internal work. It's just, well, what is that for you?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. So right. It takes work. It takes that effort, and it takes you to be open, especially when you're doing spiritual work, because your answers, your results can come in a way that you least expect. But the most important thing is we make the time and the effort to connect, to be quiet, to fine tune, so that when we're out in the noise, we can see and still be connected to where we need to go. It's like an antenna. It's like an antenna on a television, for a television. If you put it in a closed box, it's not going to pick up things well. And you're trying to look at this picture and the picture's fuzzy. But if you take it out of the box and you put it maybe at somewhere else in the room, it may be clearer. But if you put it nearer to where it can get those raises, it can get that energy, you get a clearer picture.
And I love that example. And what I want to share is, having spent so many years in the allied health industry and as a bodywork therapist, really to help people with their manifestation, what I keep coming back to is the importance of this vessel, the physical body that we are in, and how important that the health of us is as a conduit, as a vessel for bringing things in, and as part of the process of doing the inner work. And so let's say doing the kind of the any shadow work and inner child integration and the subconscious reprogramming. So however anybody does that, meditation, all of that, we can consider those to be a little bit metaphysical, in the sense that they're not physical, tangible things, right? But in terms of our physical health, if our body is burdened, and if we aren't looking after our physical selves, that has definitely been coming through a lot for me as a really important piece of the manifestation puzzle. So will you still manifest if, let's say, you've got autoimmune conditions, which are, yes, of course you will, but will you do it better? Will things work better? Will you bring things forth clearer? Will your intuition be clearer? Will your sensitivity be better when your physical vessel is clearer? And the answer is yes. So spirit, every time I'm working with somebody, spirit's really like, they need more water, they need a little bit of lemon in their water, let's eat some more fruit, do you know what I mean? It's like whatever's relevant for the individual. But the importance of making positive, healthy shifts within our physical self is really important as well.
And the funny thing is that the same work you need to do in your body, if you're not sure what you need to do, ask. It will guide you, because I know it talks.
It will, yes.
And and you get. I know I don't drink enough water, and I'm keeping saying I need to drink enough water, and I'm trying different.
Maybe this was your message.
and then also I look at my food, and something says, okay, you're eating this, but you need to do this. And when you start to go on that spiritual road, that journey, and you really so want it, they will guide you. Even in physical, what to do to help that physical side. You just need to listen. You just need to listen, because I get it. And I think, oh, I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Yeah, I don't do that, but I know to do that. With you, so you can get it all. You just need to be open and recognize it. It's that desire to want and recognize.
And then it's sort of, so you've repeatedly said, well, I know I need to do this, I could do this. Then the question needs to become, well, what's stopping me from actually doing it? And it's looking at it from that perspective as well. It's like, well, what's in the way? Is there something in the way, or is it just that I simply need to get up and do it and have a better habit? Do you know what I mean? Because not everything is a block, right? Sometimes it's just, we've just got to implement new habits and really expand kind of the pathways very much for our physical, like drinking more water. It's just a habit of getting up and getting it. Or same with building our connection with higher self. It doesn't mean that we're blocked if we can't hear anything. It's just about being open to receiving the messages in lots of different ways, not the way that we expect or think that perhaps they should come through.
That's right. And not only that, sometimes you get the messages, but the message you get, you don't like it.
Ain't that the truth? I think we can all put our hands up to that experience, but that's the journey of life, isn't it? And that really ties back to one of the things I started in the beginning, where it's, we don't be put off by our fear. We make friends with it because it's valuable. It's raising something to our attention that needs our attention. And our fear is very much there as a beacon of this needs attention. And it's like, the trouble is that fear is so intense sometimes that it really repels us and we can't kind of step into it. But if you sit with the fear, if you really embody it, it'll melt away the intensity, and it'll just show you what needs attention, which is the purpose behind it. And that's really important.
Yes, you're so right, because we all suffer from fear in one sense or another, unfortunately, and some in more ways than others. But when you look at what you're fearing, and I'm doing that, and things come and it's uncomfortable, and it's because you're trying to avoid something and you want something badly, but it may not be working out, and can't it just go this way? Can't I just leave it? It's about you looking at this and what I find, the more you look at it, it's there telling you that there's something you need to pay attention to. That's all. And you may not be getting what you want because this fear is there. But if you face that and say, what is it? What is it that I really need to do? It's actually building you. It's actually building you. It's building those muscles. It's building that strength, and it's building that wisdom. And it's facing.
And that was definitely my experience too. Exactly what you said. It was really just that fear and the uncomfortableness that I was experiencing was becoming present because it was needing to move me. And
Yes.
if it wasn't there, it wouldn't have started moving and shifting me in the direction that I needed to go.
Yes.
But it wasn't until I sat with it and really started looking into it, exactly as you just said, that it then became clear on where we needed to go.
Yeah. And it helps you. In fact, it does help you. You know, fear can either be telling you, no, don't go this way, that way, or it's saying, look at me closer. There's something you need to do, and it's not a problem. And in that, and it's actually helping to build you, to make you stronger, to look at something and know what you need to do. Again, it's just taking that action, which way to go, this way or that way. But it's all there to actually strengthen you.
Everything is, every single experience in your life, the good, the bad, the ugly, is all there to help you and to grow. And I think what's just come back into mind, which I was thinking about just a moment earlier when we were speaking, it's our purpose in life. If you came here to be a mum, that is a wonderful purpose, and that's enough. We don't all need to go and be running conglomerate businesses and all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to be a mum or a dad or a pet parent, for example, it's like, clients come in and they'll go, oh, well, all I do is walk. That's awesome. Do you know what I mean? I don't want anybody to put themselves down if they kind of think that they're not good enough because they don't have career aspirations. You don't have to. That might not be your soul's purpose in this lifetime. Your purpose can just be to be the best version of yourself, to affect positively the people who are in your life. It is not about the job that you do. It's who you are.
Thank you so much for that, because we are living in times where things are changing and we have to do things differently. But so much is that you can have this multi-thing business. You can do, and you're so right. Not all of us are here to be the multi-billionaire, the multi-millionaire. Life is not just about that. Each one of us has a gift. Each one of us has a purpose. And if we follow that gift, if we follow that purpose, we will achieve everything we're meant to, and we will be extremely happy.
Yes.
Because some of those multi-millionaires and billionaires are not happy.
They ain't happy, no.
There's quite a few of them out there that's, they're going through depression.
Yes.
Because they haven't got people around them they can't trust. They don't know who really wants them or really cares for them. They don't know who's using them just for convenience, and they have all this, just their attitude of doing things, and it needs to change. So,
and look at those stories that you've just mentioned. It is same but different. We put those same stories, substitute the words differently. It doesn't matter who you are. We all have fear. We all have concern. We all have worry. And it is our choice to overcome them.
Thank you. Exactly. So, in this time when we are being shaken to awaken, to when I say connect, we're already connected. It's never been broken, but to awaken to the fact of who we are and what we're capable of and how we should be living. It's a wonderful time, and we can be happy. We can have all the things we want in the proportion that's necessary for our happiness. I mean, after all, I don't need to have 100 cars and live in a story building and have so many. In fact, I really don't want that. I just want a nice bungalow, because I don't want to be walking up and downstairs. And I'm telling you the truth, I don't want to be living in a house with up and downstairs. If that's what for you, that's fine. But I just want a nice, spacious bungalow and just a nice spot and a place where I can walk and talk and breathe, and the sun shining every morning, and connecting with people and having meaningful conversations. That is wonderful.
And imagine having a house with 50 million rooms. That's a lot of cleaning. Who wants to clean that much? I don't.
You've got to get the housekeeper, the this, the that, that, you know. But if that's what you want and that's make you happy, fine. But
I think to really put a bow on everything that you've just said, it is looking at what it is that you want, i.e. the multiple cars, the $1 billion, or whatever you put there. And it's like, okay, what's the essence of that thing? So the big house, or in your case, the bunk, what is it that is the heart, the essence of it? And you are in alignment with that essence, because it's like, I just want to be comfortable. I want to be happy. I want to love the space that I am in and that is the essence. And when you take away what you think that looks like and you focus on the energy of how it makes you feel, and the space, the happiness, the peace, the comfort, whatever it is for you, that is everything. And that it's connecting with the essence of that, and that's manifestation.
Yeah. It's when you said the essence, and essence is what truly makes you happy. What is the essence? Because a lot of things we think, oh, when we get this, I'm going to be happy. You get it, and after a while, it's like, oh, you're not happy. So that's
because you wanted the title, not how it made you feel. And when you were describing it, it's like you were shining, which was nice.
Lasting, true, down to earth happiness, having a place that you're happy in. There's food, there's sunshine, and people that you can talk to, get up in the morning, say good morning to, have lovely conversation, and people around you being happy and smiling, and in that way not feeling isolated.
No.
Everybody is there for everybody, but you're not living in each other's way, or energy is just flowing nicely. What else do you want? I don't need a big house and big land. No, just
that really dampens your energy. The bungalows for you. That's great.
Yes. Rammed earth, bungalow, and nice people and around you. And when you have that, the energy around that area also vibrates. And you wake up in the morning and you're hearing birds and you're seeing the sunshine, and the food tastes beautiful, and you're talking to people. And if you have to bend and do something, you don't mind, there's a different energy, there's a different flow. It's like driving into here in London, and I say to people, it's like sometimes you go into certain areas, you feel the energy and you think, oh, I'd love to live here, because the energy. And another area you go, you think, no, we've got to come out of here.
Yes, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, because we're actually going to be in London later this year in June. Excuse me. And we've been thinking about going, like whether we go or not, because our friend's getting married, right? And the more I'm thinking about it, I'm feeling my energy expand, and I'm feeling myself being pulled towards there. And it's like, okay, well, we know the answer, we're going, because when you develop that sensitivity to it, that's a hard yes for my body. My body, my soul, my spirit is like, we're going to the UK in June. It's like, I'm going to be there for 5 days, but we're going.
Again, what are you saying here? You're saying, and I'm just saying, it's the way you feel that you you should be doing this. When you look at it, you feel, oh yeah, it's right.
Yes.
When I want to travel or just go for a holiday, I think, well, where do I want to go? It's the feeling. Does it feel right? And again, it's energy. It's the universe. It's the creator. That's guidance. What is the right thing for you to do? Is it good for
And
you?
can you see, yes, and can you see now the connection with the physical self? Because if your body is heavy and dense, it's harder for you to have that sense of that pull and that playfulness and that feeling of energy in your body, because to elicit positive, happy emotions when everything's heavy and stagnant and like dense, it's hard. And that's why that message of looking after the physical self keeps coming through. That clicked into place perfectly as you said it for me.
You're absolutely right. And Anna, what are you doing now? Because you've now changed courses and you're now doing something else. Come on, tell us, what are you doing now? How can people connect with you if they need to reach out? Please let us know.
Beautiful. So I am currently focused on working one-to-one with people. So I'm doing intuitive transformational coaching sessions. So we're using all of my intuitive abilities to help you identify the areas in your life that need to be unblocked. So if you've got subconscious programming, we'll be able to pull the specific blocks out, as well as a strategy that's channeled directly from spirit on the specifics of what you need in order to change, shift, heal, so that you can bring forth the change that you're looking for. And that works on the inner child level, the shadow level, the subconscious programming, the medical intuitive level. So it's really looking at all of the aspects that we've actually touched on today. And it's not me going, oh, I think this is what will work for you. It is me connecting to your team in spirit, to your higher self, and them going, right, this is what is the right blueprint for you, for your strategy. And then we work on either healing that for you or the subconscious programming you can do yourself, but you'll be given the strategy and the blueprint so that you can start creating massive change within your life.
Wonderful. So how do people connect with you? How can they contact you?
So my website, I can give you the link if you're happy to share it. And then I'm also on Instagram, and that is AnnaEva_coach. That is the same on TikTok. I am doing some live readings at the moment on TikTok, so you are welcome to join me Australian Eastern Time. And we can do some mini intuitive readings. They're nowhere near as in-depth as what they are in a one-on-one session, of course, because they're just a few minutes, but you'll get a taster and see if it's the right style of connection with you. And then I've also got the Mastery Method podcast, and the Mastery Method is the elements of manifestation, which we've been talking about today, and that is the level of healing, the reprogramming, and that expansion. And so we go into all aspects of self-transformation into that.
Okay, so I hope everybody's got that. I will put it up in her by when I put out the video, and all that will be there as well. So before we say thank you, because it's been a wonderful session, before we say goodbye, can you leave us with a golden nugget or two of advice for those who are going through their journey that will help?
Yes, start by being the biggest champion for yourself. And that is, start by acknowledging in yourself every single thing that you did great that day. And this is a message that's come from spirit, that we all really need to become our biggest champions. And if you find it hard to do that, start with, this is the best cup of tea I've ever made. Like, start small, and it's like, I did that. I made the best cup of tea. This was the best toast I've ever made. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, that is the building and the acknowledgement of self and worthiness and achievement within yourself, because that really starts raising your vibration and starts making you really magnetic. So that's my big tip. Be your best champion for yourself.
Thank you. So you've all heard that. Be your best champion. Start small, because you've got to realize, we've all got to realize, we are so wonderful. Everything flows within us. And as I said before, God is omnipresence, omnipotent, means flowing in everything. And we are part of everything. So we are a connection of the Creator. We just need to waken up, because we work with the Creator, through the Creator, for the Creator, and by the Creator. We are co-creators. Everything is within us, and we just have to do the work. It's like going to the gym. You want to build a muscle, you have to do the work. But the muscles are there. We just have to flex them. So for everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for joining Anna, Australia, Sydney. It's now what, 9 o'clock in the evening for her.
It is.
In the morning for me. Day's just starting, her day's ending. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Bye for now.
Thank you.